Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Yo, it's your boy Chief in the house with this week's Chief Talk. Oh wait, I forgot to play my little.
Come on in, sit back, relax, and grab a cigar. Chief is just getting ready to start the show.
Right, Chief's getting ready.
Why don't you do me a favor and
Chief's
pick
ready.
out a stick, a drink, and a seat somewhere comfortable for the next couple hours as Chief Talk, presented by Natura Cigar, the rebirth of cigars, and Natura Cigars gets ready to take over your pre-weekend festivities. Here he comes. It's Chief Talk time.
It's Chief Talk time, baby. It's Chief Talk time. Get the music going back again. Say a big welcome in here this evening to Mac Bergson, Fireborn, Charles Adamson, Michael Zakovic, Supremo Tobacco, Cigar Pop, welcome into the show. Bob Ellis, welcome into the show. Gary Zanstra, all the cigar guys over there. Stogie's sister is in here this evening, along with the man, Gary Brooks. Already 22 people in here this evening. For whatever reason, I feel like I sound really quiet. Is the music too loud? I don't know. Maybe. Oh, there we go. I sound a little bit better now. And now that I've pumped myself up in my ears. Still learning this thing. Welcome into the show, everybody. Yes. Drew Estate Natura Cigar. I don't know what I was going to say, but I completely flummoxed there. Drew Estate Natura Cigar, making sure that we have Chief Talk every single week. I have got to get used to this stupid board because it is throwing me off because I'm trying to think about things with this board while I'm trying to talk at the same time. It's making me really frustrated. So without further ado, Chief Talk brought to you by Drew Estate Natura Cigar. Man, I'm glad they don't pay me for my intros. Let's get this over here like this. Change out the background, you guys. Man, I gotta. There we go. Here we go. This there. Add Bob Cigar Guy. Don't know why it's. There we go. No, we already have very little internet connection in studio.
Storm. We got a bad storm kicking around.
Your video is
Chris,
very no, it's
looking
not. It's
good.
not. It's very, very lagged between what is being shown on stream and the voice. And it probably has a lot to do with our internet connection right now. So this show is not doing great at the moment.
But we've already got 20 viewers.
J Bates says, "Don't touch my music dial." Okay. I'll put it back up. Just for you, J Bates. I'll take it back off. I put it on my little board over here so I can actually turn it on and off. But then I realized when I usually put it on, it wouldn't play unless I'm on the screen. I'm still figuring this thing out, whether or not I'm going to even keep that on the soundboard or not. I don't know. Because I've also made the little AI intro thing, and that won't play unless I'm on the screen as well. And if I'm not on the screen, it doesn't play. If I'm on the screen, I don't want it to play. I'm having a nice brain fart evening over here, and we're 5 minutes into the show.
Basically, we have a very expensive dongle at this point.
Let's see. John Ryan, welcome to the show this evening. Happy to have you here. I'm really loud in my ears, so I'm going to turn myself back down. Says, have you had the Tabernacle? Absolutely. Love Foundation's Tabernacle. Do I get paid? No, I don't get paid. Not for this. I get paid to make a whole lot of mistakes. Now I feel like I can't hear myself anymore. Chief, all blurry. Yeah, it's my internet connection. For whatever reason, my internet connection is absolutely in the tank right now. So I don't know. Cigars Unbanded, welcome into the show. How are you doing this evening? Hopefully you're doing well.
Hey,
tonight's
pull me
show,
off for a second.
while Bob the Cigar Guy interrupts me as I'm trying to talk about the show. What do you need?
I'm gonna go check.
Okay. Well, oh no, not that one. Put myself full screen here. To me, I look like I'm in clear quality. But tonight's show, I don't know, I feel like I am in such a blender right now. I'm getting ticked off because it's not going as smoothly as I would like it to. So sorry for having to deal with my frustrations. It'll be good is if I play something that'll get all of our mood up. How about that? I'm piss Bob the Cigar Guy off because it's going to send him an email. That means nothing.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every seam. It's the bigger love of the family.
All right, I'm back. We're back. Let me bring Bob the Cigar Guy back. I don't know why my computer is having such a hard time with the Wi-Fi. If I'm the only one that's blurry for you guys, that means that his connection is more stable. Usually he's wired. No, you're not wired in. You're on Wi-Fi still. We're just gonna get into the show. We're gonna run the show as long as we want, or until I get into a big hissy fit and say, we're done with the show tonight. We hit the number. We hit the 20 magic number. So that's 23. Yes, 23 shows this year where we hit the number. So that's a plus. Well, congratulations everybody. 23 shows. Making sure that which one is it? Is that no? There we go. I found it. It's on par with tonight's stream. So tonight's show is called "What Makes a Cigar a Yard Gar." I was thinking about this the other day as I was smoking a cigar, and I was doing yard work. It was yesterday, day before yesterday. I don't remember. And it sparked a small conversation on the Discord over there, which is the second link in the description this evening. If you have not joined the Chief Talk Discord, you can join the Chief Talk Discord and hang out with us over there. Maybe I can figure out how to type better than I speak. But I sent a picture of a Nica Rustica Adobe, and I was talking about my yard gar. And when I thought about it, when I was posting it, I was like, you know what? It's kind of, I don't know, is it insulting to call a Nica Rustica Adobe? And then it just kind of got me thinking about what makes a yard gar a yard gar. Is it the price? Is it the flavor? Is it the construction? Is it the you just don't care about it or whatnot? Can cigars that meet those qualifications but taste really good still be considered a yard gar, or is there a stringent strict process of deciding what is a yard gar? So what I have done tonight is I have not started smoking anything. I have not smoked anything at all today. Actually, I've been in here working on my computer trying to get the stream ready for tonight, and the internet is completely sabotaging me this evening. But I have 4 cigars here. And I think I know which one I'm gonna take. But these are 4 cigars that I would say are all yard gars, but I would say that 2 of these are cigars that you could see me definitely smoking outside of a yard gar experience. Now, what is the yard gar experience? Bob Cigar, what would you classify as a yard gar? Nope, it is now.
Okay. So, yard gar. It's going to be a more rugged construction. It's not going to be a Connecticut shade because for me, a yard gar is something I can sit down, pick up, relight a bunch of times because I'm doing a bunch of stuff.
You can't do that to a Connecticut shade?
Connecticut shade's a little bit more delicate, a little bit more fussy. I find when you have to relight a Connecticut shade a bunch of times, it really gets kind of bitter. And the wrapper on a Connecticut shade is thinner than, let's say, a broadleaf or a Mexican San Andreas. And so if you're a little rugged with it, it doesn't tolerate it well. So I would want a heavier constructed cigar. I would want something that was inexpensive. A Yard Guard to me is something that is inexpensive. Yard Guards can taste great. You quoted the Nika. Fantastic cigar, but I would consider it a shop cigar or a Yard Guard, or if we're doing something cigar adjacent where you want to smoke a cigar to pass the time of the thing that you really don't want to do or that you have to do, and you want a cigar with it, something I ain't got to pay attention to. I don't want something I paid good money for, and I'm going to feel I need to give it the attention it deserves. So I guess those would be my main things: the price point, and that it would handle dealing with what I'm doing. Now, an Umbagog is a great cigar, solid construction.
Okay, before you go any farther, so your qualifications for a Yard Guard is a cigar that can be, kind of beat up from maybe from packaging as well, like from the manufacturer. Like you get a cigar that's a little bumpy, maybe just it's got a paper band on it instead of something that, well, not paper band, but it's just you know what I'm saying. It's like like something that kind of looks like it was made up on Microsoft Word.
Can be,
a cigar that maybe isn't super tight rolled in a sense where it's nice and it's a real true Parejo instead of something that looks a little bumpy along the way.
Fair enough.
Something that's on the cheaper end, the budget end of the humidor purchasing.
Great.
And then now this one I don't really get behind is the it's not a Connecticut shade. You couldn't have a Connecticut shade Yard Guard. I don't think I've ever thought about that. You did say that you want a Yard cigar is a cigar that can go out and you can relight and doesn't taste like butt. Every cigar that I have relit multiple times usually starts to get progressively worse in flavor. So that was interesting to hear you. Now, my next question before I jump into showing these cigars and tackling comments on the stream, with that, is there a cigar that meets those qualifications of the Yard Guard that has that does double duty? It does duty as a Yard Guard, but it also does duty as a sit back, chillax, relax kind of sort of smoke.
Yes.
Okay.
The El Baton from J.C. Newman, the Umbagog from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Either of the Nikas, they fit that as well. Those would be the ones that I would go for it. But then again, if I'm sitting around hanging out with friends, I'll pick up a factory smoked sweet. And that's a very inexpensive cigar, and it's a Cuban sandwich, so the construction is not the best in the world. The ash is going to fall off and all that, but still, I enjoy the flavors of that cigar. So I guess that would be adjacent.
Now, I want to know, as we continue to dive into this, I want to know from the comments what you guys and gals would classify as Yard Guards. Give me a little. These are the things that I would, when I'm doing yard work or. In Yard Guard doesn't even have to mean that you're doing yard work. You could be out at the grill. You could be just out doing stuff in the garden, picking your fruits and your vegetables, or
building a deck.
Just stuff that it's really even driving your vehicle, right? Because there's so many times where like I'll purposely choose a specific cigar to smoke while driving or better yet, there's certain cigars that I will not smoke in my truck because I know that I'm probably going to be battling the wind that's being, flushed into my truck because I don't have a rabbit air sitting in my back seat. It's going to be dealing with the wind. It's going to be dealing with me, knocking it around or setting it down in my little portable ashtray that I have. And then there are cigars that definitely I'm like, yeah, no, not doing that. Sometimes I will. So I want to know, what for you viewers who are out there, all 22 of you across 23 now on YouTube and one person on Facebook. Shout out to the one on Facebook keeping it going. And before I go any farther, Charles Anderson, Dan Burns, and Jay Bates, thank you all for hitting some sort of reactionary button over on Facebook. And for all of you who have done it on YouTube, I wish I could see who did it because I'd shout you out, but I can't. So do smash that like button. And if you're watching on Facebook, or if you end up going over to Facebook or whatever, share this to your favorite cigar groups. All right, so I have brought out 4 cigars. All 4 of these cigars are cigars that I have seen or are marketed as yard gars. I don't think there's a negative connotation behind yard gars. I think that yard gar there needs to be a yard gar. I think that there deserves to be a yard gar classification. Everybody wants to talk about, oh, what should I get for my graduation? Or, oh, what should I get for my... I saw one today on Instagram that was, what cigar should I smoke for a military ball that I'm going to? I was like, oh, I've never thought about a military ball before. But, you know, everybody wants to know, well, what cigar should I smoke for my kid graduating? Or what cigar should I smoke for my kid coming, you know, my pregnancy announcement, job promotion, retirement, you know, death in the family, something like that. You know, what cigar should I smoke? And I don't think I ever see anybody saying, well, what cigar should I smoke for a yard gar? So I don't know if that becomes from like a negative connotation on cigars. Like one of the cigars that I have here is happily trying to lean into the yard gar experience. I think they know that there is a clientele there. I'm not clientele. You know, the more affordable the cigar, the more likely I am to smoke it. Aside from like or to buy it, should I say? Obviously, I'm in a different position because I have a lot of cigars that come through here through the channel. But when I do go to a humidor, when I see cigars that are a nice 60, $70 for a satchel of 10, like, oh, maybe I could do. I mean, sometimes it's even better than that. Factory smokes, right? So I'll start off with the 2 lesser named cigars here. And I didn't say this earlier. Please let me know what you're smoking, what you're drinking. I would love to know what you've got going on this evening. Bob, the cigar guy. What are you smoking over there?
Well, I was going to pull up the Wagashi.
Oh, not a yard gar.
But you did not tell me. This is Chief does this content, and I just kind of.
It was titled.
I don't pay attention. So it's my fault.
So that's the problem.
But I do have a cigar sitting on my desk that I'm not that excited about, to be honest. And I would classify this as a gimmick or a yard gar. And this is the Mr. Punch's hot dog.
That is not the name of it.
Cigar.
That is not the name of it.
It's supposed to look like a hot dog.
It's not the name of it.
It is Mr. Punch's Wieners. And so, I just don't feel like I want to say I have Mr. Punch's Wiener in my mouth and I'm smoking it. I just don't want to do that. But the gimmick is this is the Father's Day cigar. They had the Father's Day cigar last year with the little chubby middle and it looked like a bow tie, or it looked like a tie. That was a Father's Day cigar last year. I like that cigar. But this is the new one that's come out for Father's Day. You can cut either end and smoke either end, and I don't know if the blend is different on either end. But it's just been sitting here. It's actually been sitting on my desk, and I'm like, well, I've got a new Cuba Superior sitting over here, but that's a Connecticut shade. Great cigar, phenomenal cigar.
I still don't get the whole Connecticut shade.
Just because
the Undercrown shade is a cigar that could definitely fit the yard gar category.
Yeah, but
and I think that I think the shade thrown at shades is a little uncalled for. I think that you can have a yard gar with a Connecticut shade.
You asked me my opinion.
I know, but I'm telling you, I think it's wrong.
And my opinion is I want something that's a little bit more robust on the wrapper.
All right. So before I get before I do jump into my cigars here, let's see. Cigar Pop says my yard gars are the Factory Smokes Sweet and Maduro. Ooh, I love both of those cigars. Gary Brooks says the Omagog is the real yard gar. Inexpensive, tastes great, and doesn't go out. Michael Zakvek, welcome into the show. A yard gar or car gar is the feeling that if the cigar drops gets messed up, you really don't care. And I lean more towards that feeling of, I'll jump back into that a little bit. Charles Adamson says solid construction is important, so it helps stay lit. Jay Bates says I have often thought about yard gars. Usually, as you can see from my picks, I just grab whatever and smoke. That's my 3 cents Jay Bates got an extra penny in there. Big money man. Fireborn says, okay, switching to the phone and headed to the garage with the Man of War damnation. First Maduro I loved and blended by AJ, which started my love affair with the Nicaraguan soul brother AJ. Photos de Puros coming in with the inexpensive but not cheap. And that is important.
Facts.
Because cheap and inexpensive are two different things when it comes to quality. Now, depending on how much money you got in your bank account, cheap and inexpensive could be definitely two different things. Because if you got a fat stack, a $19 Liga Privada number 9 could be inexpensive to you. That is not cheap for sure. But for me, inexpensive is like, the 4 or 5 or lower, portion. Charles Adamson says it doesn't matter what it looks like. I don't know. There's definitely cigars that I would definitely say are more yard guard based off of what they look like from just look, because there are some cigars, and I'm very familiar with this brand, and it'll be the first cigar that I bring up that looks rough a lot of times because they are short filler cigars. That Cuban sandwich that Bob Cigar I alluded to earlier, where it's short filler, chopped up filler. It is, throwaways, tearaways from other cigar leaves that are used for other cigars. It doesn't mean that it's not like the stories you hear of the fake Cuban cigars where they sweep up the stuff off the floor and there's dog hair and, human feces and stuff in the cigar. It's just, it makes for a bumpier cigar. It's not as easily formed by the hand or the machine that made it. Bob Ellis says that brings up the point of what is the price point cutoff for a yard cigar. Photos de Puros says the El Baton Fascio. Tim Winters started to use the seed to smoke as mine. Michael Zakvik says the new Cuba Corojo. That's my yard gar. Mac Bergen says yard gar can be when you wrenching on them vehicles. Adam Wolf, welcome to the show. Happy to see you this evening. Hey family, sorry it's been so long, but glad to see y'all. Fireborn, Man of War would be good. Yard gars, tasty but not incredibly complex, inexpensive, or robusto sizes. Cigar Pop. My choice is the factory smoke sweet in Maduro because of construction, cost, flavor, and I'm not worried if I have to toss it. And that is also something that's really important for the yard guard category in my opinion. My opinion. Gary Zandra says a cheap cigar is good for a yard guard. Usually, most yard guards, in my experience, start one of the identifiers is price. Adam Wolf has got a Foundation Charter Oak Maduro. That could be a yard guard. It's a heavy yard guard. Crownheads Juarez is a top yard guard for me. That's definitely a great shout from Crowned Heads. I think that's probably their best cigar. That would be a yard guard. So that's a rough, down and dirty stick that doesn't cost a whole lot, can be abused pretty well, and stays well lit for a while. Gary Brooks says I kickstarted a car version of a Rabbit Air, but then I bought a new car and didn't even let people eat in it. Oh, boo! I found it. Matt Berger, welcome to the show. Glad you are here. Charter Oak is perfect too. Absolutely. Let's see. John Sella says Charut would be considered a yardstick for me. Matt Berger says I love the Nica Rustica Adobe for a yard car. The factory throwouts. There's a couple companies that do that. I actually love. I don't know if he's watching right now, but Jamie Vaughn, one of my best buddies out there. As I go to his house every week and we smoke, and I was at his house last night and we were smoking, and he loves the Oliva line, and he has found a place to purchase the brand line that he loves, but it's like the second version of it. So something was a little wrong with either the shape or the length or the wrapper or something whatnot. Smoke's fine. Smoke's perfectly, just as good as the other cigars. It just is a little something on it that they didn't want to send out to retail. Romacraft does that with what they call the segundos, which is seconds. And they do those. I don't think they actually sell those. I think those are promotional items and giveaways and stuff. But I tell you what, some of the segundos are really fun to have because sometimes you don't know what you're smoking. And it's like, I know it's Romacraft. I don't know which one it is. but it's really good and it's fun to enjoy. Let's see. Dan Burns says, whatever you feel is priced for you and has the flavor you like. Everyone has their own taste. Matt Brugger is loving the 601 Maduro. Cigar Pop at the Mayflower Dusk. Bob Ellis is smoking a West Tampa Red. Michael Zakovic at the Aganorsa Habano and a Jackie D. Gary Brooks says, pushing the mower, Umbagog. Using the electric riding mower, sin compromiso. Sammy Flo, the Barber and Cigar. Welcome into the show. How are you doing this evening? What are you smoking? I want to know. Adam Wolf smoking an Aladino Corojo and an Arnold Palmer. Now, the Aladino Corojo, not a yard gar. My favorite cigar from Aladino. Really, really love that cigar. Not a yard gar. Good evening to you too, Dan Burns. We got mad love for you. Fireborn says, when Chief wants your opinion, he'll give it to you. Tim Winter's 149 with a Dr. Pepper at the moment. Cheers to the Dr. Pepper lovers out there. I gotta get to the end of these comments. I haven't even pulled up a cigar. I'm not even smoking it. We're 26 minutes into the show.
Your camera's gotten much better.
That's good. It still tells me that I have terrible internet connection, but if I don't look at it, it works. Charles Adamson says the unbanded house bundles can be great yard guards. I used to love Cool Cat from the lounge in Monterey. They went out of business and Corona bought all the stock. All gone now. Yeah, it's some of the house blends can end up being really good smokes. There's always stories about why house blends are house blends, right? Are they specifically blended, or were those just blends that didn't work out and they took off the shelves and they put somewhere else? I'll tell you what, some of the discontinued Drew Estate cigars, I would love to be like, hey, if you ever want to make a Chief Talk blend, let's just go with some of these discontinued lines over here. I'm looking at you, Undercrown, Sungrown. Mac Bergson, BTCG has all the talent, shouldn't need to read the topics. He should be told the topics in advance. Mac Bergson, shut up. Sammy Flo,
Love Mac Bergson.
I think any Toro is a good size for a yard long. Yeah, and that's the thing that I've never really thought. I've never took into consideration for yard guards is Vitola. Now, obviously, you're not going to see me out there pushing a lawnmower or picking weeds or in the garden or up underneath the truck trying to change the oil with the 10x100 Asylum, right?
Yeah, but you won't be out there with a nasty Fritas either.
I could be, yeah, heck yeah. Look, when I'm out in the yard, I'm looking to smoke as many cigars as possible, and the smaller the better, because I can say I smoke 12 cigars a day.
The Havana Q, I forgot about that. That's a real good yard.
Gary Brooks says, hate short filler, too much drop dash and piece of tobacco in your mouth. I mean, it's a love-hate relationship for sure. John Salas, smoking my own rolled stick Connecticut with Ecuadorian binder, Nika filler, and then some JD single barrel. Charles Adamson says, on the looks, I was referring to blemishes and off-color wrappers. Dan Burns says, I go with a tobacco for yard work. Mac Bergson says, crowns for sure. Gary Brooks just switched to a Room 101 Little Big Delicious Black, not a yard guard. Adam Wolf, I knew that when the Juarez comment was brought up that you'd jump on that. Oscar, the Leaf by Oscar are good yard guards. Interesting. I always figured Leaf by Oscar was kind of like Oscar's top premier thing. So
yeah, but they're 10, 11, 12 bones.
So let's see. Smoking a Sakakan, not a yard guard. No, agreed. Not a yard guard. Now, Steve Saka would get on his tractor and probably smoke that while he was doing this work, but Steve Saka can just blend his own, selection of them. Mac Bergson with the unsolicited Harbor Freight detail coming in here, trying to take advantage of all the dads out there. Dr. Pepper Zero just got recalled in SC for accidentally filling it with full sugar soda. Well, good for me. I only drink the full sugar Dr. Pepper. Anyways, Mac Bergen says, what we don't know won't hurt us. Gary Brooks. That's absolutely right. All right. Now that I have finally gotten myself down here to the bottom of the comments, I am not going to let you guys and girls decide what I smoke tonight, because I know what you guys would stick me with. But I did pull out 4 cigars over here that are definite, in my opinion, yard guards. And I also think that you all would say it as well. So we start off with something that is, like I was talking earlier about the short filler, the Cuban sandwich. This cigar, hopefully you'll be able to see it. It's in cellophane, but I had the light right behind the camera. This is the Slaughterhouse. This is a brand that is manufactured in partnership out with Kretek. So there's a whole bunch of.
They used to have the best social media photos in the game, but they just have dropped in their quality.
They
past 6
they
months
did.
to
They
a
had a
year.
really good photographer
But I
and
mean, it
videographer
was
for a while.
so good with so many, different looks, and I mean, it was just.
It's not Slaughterhouse's fault that they don't have a dope photographer anymore. It's not Slaughterhouse's fault. So no slight to Slaughterhouse. Now, Slaughterhouse, I have had the privilege of smoking a bunch of these because I did do the social media for them for a long time. Well, not a long time, for a while. And some of those photos needed, smoking cigars in them, but also just having a bunch of the packs. It was easy to just grab these cigars, smoke them, and throw them out if I needed to. They are the short filler. This one is the Maduro. Yes, the Maduro Churchill. I'll leave this up there for a second. It's actually not Slaughterhouse. It's not Slaughterhouse who we're booing. Slaughterhouse is great. Making poor decisions. Welcome into the show. So this is the most Yardgar cigar out of my lineup. Super cheap, short filler. I'll take it out of the package and I'll show you guys. It's because this perfectly demonstrates.
Take it out of cellar, you got to smoke it.
I don't. You can't peer pressure me. One of the things, it is a rough wrapper. I mean, it is bumpy, lumpy. It is not tightly rolled. Again, it's got all that short filler in there. As you smoke, like when you first start off the cigar with the smoking experience of this, you don't get a lot of the tobacco going into your lip or whatnot. But as you get about halfway into the cigar on any of the sizes, so the Toro, the Robustos, about halfway through, then the tobacco starts to fall out from the cap, and it's really irritating. So that's a perfect. But the thing is it's irritating in a smoking stance, but it's not irritating in a wallet stance because as soon as it does, Supremo tobacco. I know what you want to say.
Look, it's you can't blame Slaughterhouse, but the fact that they had what's the guys that make clothes, a tailor. The fact that they had a tailor make the social media decisions instead of somebody who was good at dealing with social media, it just screwed them all
we're
up.
We're not gonna get into all that. So now getting into a cigar that still fits the Yardgar category and profile, but is a full long filler cigar. And this unironically is a company that I shoot for currently right now. I don't know, maybe cigar companies think that my photography skills are Yardgar and Yardgar only. But this is Tatiscan. This is made and rolled by JRE Tobacco. JRE owns Aladino. And
Joe Rogan Experience?
No.
Oh.
Julio something. But this is Tatiscan. They are in partner, or they are rolled by the JRE team, and they have a nice little sweetened tip on them. They are again long filler cigars, and they're not bad. They're actually pretty dope. I don't just say that because I shoot their videos for their social medias, but I say it because for a Yardgar, it's actually not a really bad smoke. It's another cigar that, if you get into some trouble after you light up your cigar, you pitch this bad boy, you're really not gonna be too bummed about it because of its price point. Now, these next cigars, the next two cigars, are cigars that are still in the what I would classify as Yardgars, but I also say that these cigars can graduate to above Yardgar experience. Slaughterhouse, I would say, will be and remain for always. Excuse me, be and remain for always. Slaughterhouse will always be a Yardgar. I don't think you'll ever see anybody suggest smoking Slaughterhouse for a special event or even really a barbecue. That's more of a, man, I got to get my hands really dirty. And if I start getting frustrated with my workflow, I can just pitch that bad boy and take my frustration out on it. Tatiscan fits that bill as well, but I could see Tatiscan being a cigar that you could, be sitting out on the patio and want to enjoy a cigar,
A bonfire cigar.
just like
Tailgating cigar.
it's still like a situation like, yeah, I got a little bit of time to go out on the back deck before we got to leave for my wife's function to the rodeo or whatever. So let me just smoke this cigar, and if I smoke it, I smoke it. If I don't finish it, well, it's okay. But I don't have to be rough and sweaty to smoke this cigar. Now, the next two cigars are cigars that you can be rough and sweaty, but you can also take these cigars to go hang out at a lounge, and nobody's going to look at you and say, well, I can't believe you're smoking that in here. Like, you should be out cutting some weeds with it. Starting off with that, and this is the cigar that I'm going to smoke this evening, as we're 37 minutes into the show and I have not smoked a single cigar today, is from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, and it is the Yumbagog, as Supremo Tobacco so lovingly calls it. This is a cigar that, Steve Saka, has made as his budget line, but it's definitely a cigar. Like, it's Saka budget, right? It's a Yardgar, but it's also very much blended to be something that can be enjoyed, with a coffee or a bourbon, right? You're elevating your experience. We've gone from cigars that are strictly for outdoors and abuse to, yeah, you can abuse a cigar, but if you got a little bit of time, you can smoke it. Now we're getting into this is a cigar that you can hang out with your buddies, hand a whole bunch of these out. If if another cigar nerd, comes over to the house and they see these cigars, they're definitely reaching for these cigars alongside of your top tier ligas, right? Because this cigar belongs in that conversation as well. I did not pull out the bronze back, but the bronze back, that's my number 2 cigar of last year. It could have been number 1. It just went down to basically a coin flip with my top cigars last year. It's even better, in my opinion, than the regular bronze back. But the bronze back, the whole entire idea behind it is like a fishing cigar. Right, the bronze back is like a nickname for the smallmouth bass because of the bronzish color stripe that goes down the back of the fish. I learned that last year. I thought that was I was like, oh, why is it called bronze back? But the Umbagog is Lake Umbagog, right, where Steve Saka goes fishing. So this is definitely a cigar.
It's not close to his house, by the way. It is a haul to get to Lake Umbagog from Dunbarton, New Hampshire.
Always the elitist chief, looking down on people who smoke Slaughterhouse for special occasions. Now, if somebody smokes Slaughterhouse for a special occasion, hey, congratulations on your special occasion. Reach out to me. I'll send you some factory smokes. It's not as bad as Crowns. So you don't, you're a little above the Crowns. Gary Brooks says Umbagogs aren't made to be that. They are less perfect.
Mickey Ritas.
Well, he put an N in there. Right. They're right. But again, it's kind of like I was talking about earlier with the segundos and the seconds and all that kind of stuff. Like, this cigar, when it's packaged as an Umbagog, is packaged at a lower price point. One, not to waste the cigar, to waste the tobacco and whatnot, but it also appeals to a more budget-friendly audience. So I would say it's made to be that. Well, you got to think, It's named after Lake Umbagog. What does Steve Saka do on Lake Umbagog? He fishes. When you go fishing, that's a yard gar experience, in my opinion. Supreme Tobacco says, I smoke Yumbagogs for pleasure and relaxation. And that's where we've kind of turned the table here with the yard gar experience, where, yes, it can be a yard gar. Yeah, you can smoke this while doing yard work, and nobody's going to yell at you on social media about, I can't believe you smoked that cigar while you were mowing your lawn. Because it fits the yard gar profile, the price point, and kind of the idea behind it, in my opinion. Now, I'm not Steve Saka. I did think about saving this title for a show and maybe bringing Steve Saka on, because that's his brand, and I feel like he's talked about it enough where he talks about it being a yard gar and kind of that sort of experience. Plus, he's always out on his tractor when he's not doing cigar stuff. And what was it, last week? He had that whole bonfire situation with the voodoo dolls, and right. I will say, I'm going to call out Gary Brooks here live on stream. He left the stream last week and said something to the effect of like, "Oh, gotta go night, guys." He didn't go night. He ended up coming back on the show because the show was still running. He went over and watched the smoke-in video of them burning. Which, hey, if I don't know why they chose it to be on Thursday. Should have done a little bit of research so that I could have watched it. I caught that last week. I hadn't said anything to him about it. So I'm saying now it's all in good fun. But I did think about maybe reaching out to Steve Saka and having this topic, and then I thought, we'll just go ahead and do it tonight. Because it was something that it popped up in our Discord. Well, on the Discord, which is the second link in the description. We have a Cigar Rants little subserver where we talk about things that kind of frustrate us about cigars or the cigar community or whatever it be. And we actually, I posed a question a couple weeks ago that brought up when what is your criteria, not just the criteria that you think should be set up across all of cigar smokers, the expectations, like what is your personal criteria for when do you complain about a cigar online? And some of the key points that I brought up were, is there a certain price point that there is a floor? Like, do you think it's okay to smoke a $4 cigar and it smoked like absolute dump, and then go on Facebook and say, I can't believe this cigar smoked so terribly? Like, in my opinion, it's like, well, you bought a $4 cigar. There's a really high risk. The lower the number of the dollar, I have run into the experience of the higher the percentage of a chance that the cigar doesn't smoke well. We talked about brands, there's some brands that no matter what the price point of the cigar is, it's an automatic green light to be disappointed. And this doesn't even have to be like a, openly getting on Facebook and scrutinizing and trying to get stuff for free. It's just an opinion of your smoking experience while having the cigar. Like if you light up a Padron, right? No matter which Padron it is, you should, in my opinion, you should be able to have a good experience with all those cigars. And kind of sort of the same with Steve Saka too, because Steve Saka's cheapest cigar is what, $8, right? And so it's still not even like it's the upper echelon of budget cigars when it's going up because the whole tariff situation and price increase. But with his, many ligas as Steve has in the, the teens dollar range, there's, for me, it's kind of like an expectation of, these should all probably smoke, well, within reason, right? Except for, natural combustion things, or, it's a handmade product, or did you store it right? Or was it shipped to you right? Or whatever, whoever sold it, to you, did they store it right? Bob Cigar, you're being really quiet tonight on a topic that requires some talking.
Well, Chief, you've been talking well. I haven't had a chance to put a word in edgewise. I mean, you've been doing a great job making Chief talk, and I'm sitting back enjoying your conversation.
Well, it took me 40 minutes to get to a cigar.
That's because you're
kind of frustrated with that.
You work in that gator. I mean, and you're doing a great job. So why should I get in the way and gild the lily? You're doing a fantastic job there. All
right, so let's get back up here to some of these comments. Bobo says, I would be upset if I had to throw out an Umbagog. Charles Adamson, I finally found me some Bronze back Robustos. Have a pack coming in the mail. I still have not smoked the Bronze back Robusto yet. I have not smoked that one. I have not smoked the Alma de Cielo. And those are like the two cigars that I have not smoked the event only stick from Foundation yet. I have not smoked those, and I really want to smoke them. I just haven't had the time to sit down and say, okay, I want to smoke this cigar
and pay attention
to it. Saka can afford to put his own lake in Sasquatch Preserve. Supremo Tobacco, big money over here. I reserve my opuses for yard work. How Sasquatch live around Lake Umbagog? It's like Umbagog, a Sasquatch sanctuary. Okay, I'm not rereading that. I'm confused. Same flow. Thought something was funny. Jimmy Johns. Hey, look at the sub. Good evening, fellas. I just joined the stream. Would you consider getting cigars on a big discount, a Yardgar in that situation, assuming it isn't one you need to sit down with and focus on regularly? I think so. Again, I don't think Yardgar always means price. Price definitely helps in the situation. No, I take it back. Yardgar definitely has a price point. It's got to be an under $10 stick in that range. I mean, now, well, maybe a few years ago, but cigars are getting so much more expensive. If you get them on a discount, if they're normally out of the Yardgar range, and now your discount has gotten them into the Yardgar range, I don't know if I would say that automatically qualifies them for a Yardgar type situation.
But I'd feel more comfortable smoking it.
I'd be happy.
Yard work,
right?
I would just upgrade my yard work to a better cigar because I didn't have to pay that much for it. So
that's when you tell the wife,
coin.
I got these cigars on super discount. I need to go get the riding lawnmower now so that I can have a, they're not Yardgars, but they're discounted. So I need to have an elevated experience with my new cigars. Stogie Sister says, hi, Jimmy. Welcome. Absolutely. Welcome to the show. Making Poor Decisions says, deep discount on a good cigar doesn't make it a Yardgar. I agree. Gary Brooks says, I had 2 Umbagogs in a row tunnel, and I told Steve as an FYI, that stands for your information, but don't send me a replacement. He said, just let him know the bundle lot number. If any more do that, it was just the 2. That's a nice little quality control, little QC. Bob Ellis says the Alma de Cielo was good, but not worth the price. What if Bob Ellis is not a fan of it? That means I'm probably going to be a fan of it, just the way that he and I go back and forth with
I loved it. I thought that's in the run for the top 5 this year right now.
Making Poor Decisions says, I never get upset with a bad cigar unless it happens regularly. These are handmade products. They are going to be a screw up once in a while. And I mean, that's another thing. It's like any cigar has the chance to be a bad cigar. You can't quality control it that great, right? I'm sure there have been some Davidoff Oros out there that have not smoked well.
I'd be mad.
Yeah, those cigars have got to come with some sort of
I'd be mad.
guarantee.
I don't expect to ever smoke a Davidoff Oro, but
Gary Brooks says, I bought those Chillin' Moose specifically as a Yardgar years ago. Big nope. I'm not a big fan of the Chillin' Moose. I like the Chillin' Moose too.
I don't like either one of them.
I like the Chillin' Moose too. That's actually pretty good cigar. Good Yardgar. Now, I will say, I don't know. I don't think the cigar is a Yardgar. But usually I ask here recently, Bob Cigar, have you smoked anything good here recently that was like, wow, I can't, that was such a good cigar? I have. Yesterday, I smoked an aging room that we got at the Altadis booth at PCA. And I think it was the Aging Room Concerto. Yes, it was the Aging Room Concerto. It's the new light powder blue band from Aging Room. Very light, very mellow, with just a hint of pepper on it. Really good cigar. Bob Cigar Guy, be thinking about that because I'm going to ask you here in about 22 seconds. Chief Talk, brought to you by the the wonderful people at Drew Estate and Natura Cigar, making sure that every single Thursday you have some sort of quality content. This stream definitely started off on the bad side, but it looks like everything is on the up. Now we do have some bad weather on the way over here. It was an absolute monsoon, and then the little thing on my phone said lightning bolt. So I'm sure that's messing with it. Bob Cigar, have you smoked anything good? We love our sponsors. Thank you all. Bob Cigar, have you smoked anything good in the last 7 days?
Yes.
What was it?
I had I had one that was very interesting, and that is the Natura Emissary France.
Oh, yeah.
Which has French tobacco. I didn't even know France did tobacco.
Right. So when I did the press release on that earlier in the year before PCA, I was like, oh, I didn't know France had tobacco.
I didn't either.
I figured like Leffen Loms or Ellie Blue or SC DuPont would have leaned into that.
Right.
And that is a pretty darn good cigar. It is not as good as the Emissary España, though.
Agreed. But it was still a solid cigar.
It is a good cigar.
Now, I looked at the press release and it talked about it had the flavors of dark berries. And I'm like, yeah, they're leaning a little bit into the grapes of France. I didn't taste dark berries, but I did taste a sweetness to it. And I also did one that kind of surprised me that is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And I'd call this a Yard Guard, except it's a Connecticut wrapper, which is the new Cuba Superior.
Okay, haven't had that one yet.
From Aganorsa with the sweetened cap. When Fabian came by, he dropped those off, and I just had the box sitting here, and I grabbed one to do just while I was editing, and I decided to pop up a review on it because it just was that good. I mean, it's a solid cigar at a Yard Guard price. So it's a good cigar.
Nice. Haven't had the chance to smoke that one yet. We have the cigars here, obviously. But Bob Cigar always hoards the new stuff that comes in and keeps it locked under lock and key. I can't get a hold of it. So finally he has smoked the cigar.
Camacho 2025 limited edition.
That's the jar. It's not a jar. It's he said it wasn't a jar.
It's not a tin. It's not a jar. It's a cylinder. I forget what he said too. I can't remember either. But yes, this is that.
Nice.
Which sits over here because the rule is until I review the
Keith E says the Emissary España is pretty good. I love that cigar. That was a really good cigar. That Emissary España was the first cigar that literally hit me as a breakfast cigar. Mellow but delicious. Let's see. Bought a box of as Bob the cigar guy would say, the box pressed hexagon. Alma Fuerte, love them. Bob Ellis, for the price, I'll take 2 West Tampa Reds for cheaper than the Cielo. Man, I got an aging room La Boheme and loved it, but dropped it in the water halfway there. Oh, rip.
Oh, man.
That sucks. Let's see. It was good, just nothing spectacular. I'll have to check it out here sooner. I'll have to try to make some more time for it. Placencia seems to be one of those companies I just don't jive with their line. I love the Alma Fuerte. I think it's the Alma Fuerte.
It's a 6-sided box press.
It's a box press. The Shady Moose is decent out of that lineup. Nothing special, but nothing bad either. I like the Shady Moose too. I already read that one. I usually like Placencia except for the Alma del Campo. Keith E. Definition Cigars Anillo is a phenomenal release this year. Let's see. Time for a new one. Knuckle Sandwich Maduro.
Oh wait, I had another good cigar.
Megan Porter says the Kentucky Cheroots are pretty cool Yard Guard for the price. Oh yeah.
We got a bag from Outcast Cigars.
That's
and
cool.
They sent a couple cigars in here, and I was editing. I was just sitting there, and I said, well, I'll give it a shot. I had no expectations of it at all. And it actually is a solid cigar. I haven't done my research on it yet.
They had the party booth.
I think it's got a lower price point. So
they had people wearing cat heads over there.
Did they really?
Keith E. is suggesting to try again. Placencia is solid. Now I get that though. If you spend a lot of money for a cigar, I mean, you definitely and it doesn't do well for you. It's hard to convince yourself to go back unless you got it right. If you sitting on a big old wallet, like if you lean to one side because your wallet's got your butt cheeks jacked up, I can see that. All right. I have not gotten into my fourth cigar. I've been talking about this Umagog and smoking it and got off topic again. So the fourth cigar that I pulled out this evening, there were other cigars here. Bob Cigar, I mentioned the El Baton. Could have brought it out. But this cigar is a cigar that is my favorite cigar out of the Drew Estate Freestyle releases that they've done. The Drew
Blackened M81?
No. The Freestyle Live program has brought us things like the Undercrown 10,
H99.
the H. Did it bring? I don't think it did. I don't think it brought the whole H99. H99 was a blend before that. They brought it back. But there was the both of the Blackened. There was the Dominicana. There was the Girl with No Name. Yeah, they've had a few cigars come out, but this is the cigar that was the only. It's still to this day is the only one from the Freestyle pack before it was named that I was like, I love this cigar. I love this blend. This is so good. And when it came out as this blend, I was like, holy crap! I never would have thought that was that. And it is the Nica Rustica Adobe. When they mentioned that it was a part of the Nica Rustica line, it blew me away. It blew me away because the Nica Rustica broadleaf is such a heavy cigar. It's such a smoke producer. It leans on just a nice gritty profile. It's a great cigar. But the Nica Rustica Adobe, when they came out with the whole $6 chuck, thing going alongside with it, I think it is the best cigar at the $6 price range. I'm a huge fan of the Nica Rustica Adobe. I love it. I've got a bunch of them. I smoke them a lot, so that's why I went with the Umbagog this evening, is because I don't smoke that cigar as much as I would love to. So I was like, I pulled it out, so can't nobody tell me I can't smoke it. But the Nica Rustica Adobe is another one of those cigars that you can post on Facebook riding a lawnmower or pushing a lawnmower or doing garden work or whatever, and people aren't going to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're smoking that cigar doing your artwork. Just like the same exact thing with the Umbagog. But the Nica Rustica Adobe is also a cigar that you can sit back, kick back, relax in your home lounge, or go hang out with your buddies or smoke at a graduation, and nobody's going to say, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're smoking that Yargar. Like it plays in both realms. I'm a big fan of that cigar. I love that cigar. And so what brought up this conversation topic, sorry for breathing into the microphone. What brought up this conversation topic was I smoked this cigar and said, doing some yard work with the cigar the other day. And somebody was like, well, is that, that I wouldn't really call it a yard guard because I love the cigar so much. Or however the conversation went. It's kind of how I took it. And I was like, you know what? That's actually kind of is it an insult? Like, is yard guard an insult? And I don't think it is. Now, I think it is, if you were to say the, $27, or no, we'll take the $33 Senator, right? If somebody says this is the best yard gar, or this is only a yard gar, this is only a yard gar. Not only that, but like, even if it's just a regular normal consumer, not somebody who has a whole lot of money. I'm not talking about like that aspect of it. What I'm talking about is like, if somebody said, this $33 cigar really only kind of fits the yard gar range. It's you don't have to pay attention to it. It doesn't smoke the greatest. If you need to drop it in the middle of your smoke and go, you can go. That would be an insult. But like Tatiscan leans into the idea of their cigars being yard guards. They want that, JRE wants that cigar to be purchased for, a little bit of that idea of, hey, we know that you're going to be doing yard work. We know that you're going to be working on your vehicle. We know that you're going to be fishing. We know that you're going to be out in the deer stand or whatever. Take our cigars.
Blue collar moment.
They're good enough. They're good enough cigars to get you through the smoke experience. They're cheap enough that if you have to put it down, it's not the worst thing in the world. And if you need to pitch it because you just are short on time or you're mad at the world because you smacked your knuckles on the bottom side of an engine rail because you were torquing the wrong way, you can throw our cigar. And in 20 minutes, when you miss the cigar, you come back to it and say, "I'm sorry, baby. I love you. I'm so sorry." So Happy Gilmore there. Let's see. Let me come back here. The Jimmy J, old Jimmy John's. Again, I'm waiting on my sub. I'm just hungry. The original Nica Rustica has been my first box purchase. I'm only 3 months into cigars. Hey,
Welcome to the lifestyle.
What a box purchase to start off with.
What a good time to get into cigars.
Gary Brooks says, "Yeah, I like the Adobe as a freestyle, but ended up preferring the original." I like the original, but I definitely reach more for the Adobe than I do the broadleaf. I love the Nica Rustica for a yard gar, but I don't like the Adobe. Well, everybody can be wrong at something. Love you. There has to be a rap song somewhere with the lyrics, "My cheeks are so jacked because my wallet so stacked." Hey, coin it. Bob Ellis says, "My first box purchase was the FSG. Still love it. If you can find them anymore. Well, Corona has them. Making Poor Decision says, "They're my favorite lounge worker stick because you don't have to relight it." What, the Nica Rustica? Saka owned that term for Umbagog. No shame. Don't change your fuel pump of the yard. No, probably a good idea not to. I'm gonna do it. That could end up being really bad. Would not suggest that. Or pumping, gas with a lit cigar. Bob Cigar Guy, is there something that you'd like to echo that's been said about the yard gar experience, or that you openly disagree with, or something like that? Because I openly disagree with the whole "you can't have a Connecticut shade as a yard gar" argument.
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm solid. I hear what everybody's saying. A lot of it makes a lot of solid sense. I mean, a lot of personal perspectives on what they like, which is kind of cool, because cigar smoking is for the individual, right? And so you should smoke what you like and like what you smoke, as Chief would say. And it's price point's important. Quality's good. You don't ever want to smoke a bad cigar. I guess some people might mistake the phrase yard gar for dog rocket.
right.
Dog rocket's a cheap cigar that just sucks. Usually has bad construction. Usually tastes disgusting.
Yeah, there's nothing redeemable about a dog rocket.
You just pitch it and keep
other
moving
than
on.
Matt Booth's Red Rocket cigar he made.
You keep it moving. It's so. I think the difference between the two might be a blending.
There's a definite difference between somebody possibly demeaning a cigar with yard gar and dog rocket. Like you can mistake somebody talking about a cigar being called a yard gar, and they'd be like, "Well, maybe they didn't like that cigar. Maybe they liked that cigar. Maybe they thought it was a really good cigar for that experience." There's no mistaking somebody calling a cigar a dog rocket, right? That's not subjective,
right?
That's fact.
And it's funny that you're talking about this topic, and I didn't know you were going to talk about this topic, and I know you haven't been watching my videos. I don't blame you. But last Tuesday, I talked about tariff terror and inflation, whatever, and it was about the Adobe, and how that's a great cigar for price point. How you can smoke that cigar, and you like smoking good cigars, but your budget be budgeting. Everything's going up: the price of eggs, the price of gas, price of whatever, and so you can still have a great quality smoking experience and still smoke as many cigars as you usually do. You just pull the dollar back a little bit, and that Adobe.
I wonder if it would be cool to see in a year's time, to see if like the demand for the Adobe or the El Baton or the Umbagog, if the demand is higher this time next year, or like if they in a year's time have they sold more of them. Well, because like Steve Saka said we read that last week, where he was like, "Look, if the tariff increases price you out, I understand. I hate it for you, but it is what it is." If you get priced out of a higher dollar Steve Saka cigar, but you don't want to stop smoking Steve Saka. You just start smoking more Umbagog. They're good. They're not exactly what you wanted out of the, the Brûlé Blue or Sin Compromiso, but they're still a good cigar, right? It'll be interesting to see in a year's time if those cigars have had more of a demand.
I don't know if you put it on Chevetta Report or not. Which if y'all aren't going to ChevettaReport.com, you ought to be going to ChevettaReport.com. Tons and tons of press releases. Chief does a great job there.
Well,
but
not a ton right now because not many are coming out.
Well, there was a press release just recently talking about, I think a PCA put it out, that the sales of cigars have dropped by like 9% in quarter one compared to last year. And everybody's blaming it on tariffs and everybody's blaming it on this and that. And I don't know if that's true or not. I just think sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. You gotta stretch that over a year and see how it.
Well, the thing I think about with quarter one is so unfair is quarter one is 3 months after Christmas and New Year's. Right. People took all of their money and put it into gifts. They took all their money and they put it into trips. They took all their money and put it into fireworks.
And it's cold outside.
Right. And so the people, if you live where if you live where it snows a lot, you're not buying a whole lot of cigars during the winter time because you're not smoking through a whole lot of cigars.
I'd love to know if more smaller cigars are sold in the wintertime compared to the summertime. I'd really like to dive into all that stuff. That would be kind of interesting for me personally.
Sammy Flo he's on board with me.
But if I can change the direction just for a minute, there's another show, a live show. It is not in competition with Chief Talk. It is on a different night. And I got to meet 3 new friends.
Chi-Town!
Mike, Maddie, and Teddy from Chi-Town Cigar podcast. Great bunch of fellers. I highly recommend you check them out. Solid podcast.
I really wanted to watch it because I wanted to give those guys a hard time, but I was fighting a 3-year-old the whole time.
They did some insane deep dives. They pulled out some pictures of me from PCA, or not PCA, Save the Leaf in 2017, which was kind
Speaking
of
interesting. Marty, welcome into the show, Marty.
There was a, and they did deep dives in the first videos we ever did. And I talked about how Chief became editor-in-chief, and we talked about how Chief Talk came around. It was a solid show. Those guys make it really easy to be a guest on a show. Chief does a great job when he has guests on. But they did a phenomenal job. They really, really did. It was a solid show.
That's nice to hear. No, I did. I wanted to tune in, but I was fighting my 3-year-old the whole entire time. I was left alone with my own devices with the 3-year-old, and he had a heck of a day. And so I did not get to tune in as I had hoped and anticipated. But it is on replay and it is in the Discord. So, I have access to it now. I will make sure to get around to it because I'd love to support the Chi-Town guys because they here support us every single week and in and out of not only Chief Talk, but also watching the Bob Cigar YouTube videos and a few of them over on the Discord. So again, talking about the Yard Guard thing, I don't know. I don't know why it really kind of got me stirred up a little bit with, people say it wasn't even like a solid thing. It was just in passing kind of sort of conversation. It's like, was that really a Yard Guard? It's like, well, yeah, I guess it is a Yard Guard, but maybe this kind of surpasses Yard Guard. Then it got me thinking about, well, what makes a Yard Guard a Yard Guard? What, is a Yard Guard a bad thing? Is a Yard Guard a good thing? And I think if anything I've tried to set out to do this evening is say that Yard Guards are their own distinct part of the cigar community.
They have a place
that belong.
Agreed.
And I kind of started off the beginning of the show after I got through with my temper tantrum about how I think we should change the narrative around what the Yard Guard is. Everybody wants to say, what's a good graduation cigar, or what's a good military ball cigar, or what's a good birthday cigar, or retirement, or whatever be, birth of your grandkid, birth of your kid, birth of your sibling, whatever. If you have that weird long 20 some odd year relationship between you and your sibling's birth age.
Well, let's face it too, because there's very few special moments in life where you can smoke a cigar, but every day you got something to do, and a cigar will make a bad day better. And so having that Yard Guard is, really nice, but it doesn't get a lot of shine. It doesn't get its flowers as the
Well, I will
English say,
say, and
because everybody wants to be cool on Facebook. Everybody wants to say, I have a Wagashi, right?
right.
They want to show
Yeah.
their fancies.
Now I will say, and this is a great segue. Where do yard guards shine? You want to know? Ask me, Bob. Even Chief, where do
yard guards shine?
Over on the Chief Talk Discord, which is the second link in the description, down below on both Facebook and on YouTube. And we also have had 6 new reactions to our stream over on Facebook. Adam Wolf hit the love button. Anthony Janis, Francesco, Gary Zanstra, Sammy Filo, Michael Zakovic, all hit the like button over on Facebook. Appreciate that. And everybody who's hit the like button and subscribed over on YouTube.
Question for you, Chief.
Greatly appreciate that. What?
Is a yard guard highlighted in today's Chief pick of the week? Or whatever it is. Chief's stick pick of the week. That's
there
what I'm trying to say.
No. This week's stick pick of the week is not a yard guard, but it is somebody who enjoys yard guards. And this is a pick out in his backyard. But this week's Chief Talk stick pick of the week is brought to you by our boy Jay Bates. Smoking that H99 out on the back terrace he's got there, with the river that runs through. He gets a few snakes a year through there. But there were 2 people that I noticed who leaned into last week's winner. Right, last week, Michael Zakovic. I think it was Michael Zakovic. Won because I loved how the sunshine was coming through in his photo with the sunrise.
Oh, I see it.
So there's a little bit of a smoke wisp that almost looks like in conjunction with the sun, kind of makes it look like a bubble.
Like a corona.
But also Gary Brooks took a photo that looked a lot similar to this week and last week's winner with the sunrise. You guys are smart. You're leaning on my the things that I like about the cigar photos.
I'm kind of surprised that he's smoking that H99 because I thought he only smoked the Ancho Largo of the H99.
Oof. I don't know. He hasn't talked in a while, so he might just be listening in his ears with his headbuds while he's working or whatnot. But that's a good story. Bob Cigar Guy gave Jay Bates and a H99 Ancho Largo, which is the big 6x60 Gordo, and he was like, "Are you gonna sit out here with me while I smoke it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be out here." And like 5 minutes later, my mom was like, "Hey, you coming to bed?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm coming to bed." Luckily, there was another Finley out there who decided to sit and stay with Jay Bates. So, congratulations, Jay Bates! You have won this week's stick pick of the week. Chief's Stogie picture of the week. Post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick of stick pick of the week. This is week 7. Congratulations, Jay Bates. We're happy that you won. You've been entered now to be at the big pick of the year at the end of the year. Sammy Flo says, "Wow, Jay Bates won. Has his own ocean. That's great, big time. It does. You should see how close it gets that mower. Keeps them lines straight." Michael Carter, welcome into the show. Hopefully you are doing well. Hopefully you're smoking something good. And if you're not, hopefully you smoke something good soon. Michael Zakovic congratulating Jay Bates. Fireborn, I love having first world problems, Gary. Did I miss the first world problem? We should feel blessed to be able to enjoy a cigar while doing mundane things. Absolutely.
Agreed.
I'm with you. So anything could technically be a yard gar if you wanted to. Bob Ellis, I had a Charter Oak as a yard guard and didn't like it. Tried it again when I could pay attention and liked it a lot more. And that's something that I try to do with, especially like the new one. Like I said earlier, I'm waiting to smoke the Umbagog Bronze Back Robusto, and I'm waiting to smoke the Almacello. I'm waiting to smoke the event only cigar from Foundation. There's a couple of cigars I have in my bag that I'm waiting to smoke because I don't want to not pay full attention to them. I don't want to turn them into yard guards. I don't want to put them in a situation with 3 kids. Like at any moment, I could be called into something. We got somebody broke a bone, or somebody's got to go to 2 weekends ago. I had 3 birthdays on the same day we had to go to. Murder. Not the children, me. But I've tried to reserve those cigars for a time when I know I'm going to have time. So I just need to like block off a day with my wife and be like, yeah, I gotta go work at the studio and just come over here and watch YouTube videos. And
Well, Sunday is Father's Day, right?
is it? Nobody celebrates Father's Day.
No, but you could say, sweetheart, for my gift this year, let me just sit alone and smoke a cigar. You'd appreciate that. I know she would. She'd feel so loved.
Gary Brooks says that his sun pick was because I was smoking a sobremesa solita. It's a good cigar, or a good pick. Don't get me wrong. Definitely happy you posted it. If you're not a part of the Discord, the link to our Discord is in the description. You can go over there. We've got a whole bunch of channels. Let's see. We've got our regular lounge talk where just some general. Actually, somebody already jumped in here this evening. It's a little Alamo Sal done jumped in the Chief Talk Discord. Welcome in, brother. We've got the Now Smoking tab where we post all of our cigars. That's residential, where all the cigars go. Ooh, Marty C with the cool picture of his Padron looking at the stick pick of the week in the background. That's kind of cool. We've got some smoke and drink suggestions, cigar questions. We have our cigar rants again, where we kind of talk about some things that maybe we don't want to, we wouldn't talk about openly on like an online forum that's like Facebook or whatnot. But it's like a safe space to come and talk about maybe what's kind of frustrating you about a cigar, or, and then again, posing questions like I posed a couple weeks ago of, well, what is your criteria for when you get to a point where you complain about cigars? Because I'm not saying that cigars are immune to critique. I mean, some cigars, you're gonna get the critiques, and it's good because sometimes it makes that cigar company better, right? And try to figure things out. Then we have a new tab called Lifestyle Support, which is where we can share other streams from other shows or other videos that you may appear on. So like Marty posted the link to the Chi-Town Cigar podcast yesterday on there, or sorry, Tuesday. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff on there. We even go outside of cigars, where we show our pictures of our barbecues or our grills or what we're cooking in the house. Some people, if you've got crafts and hobbies, if you're a gamer, if you like to talk about sports balls, Gary Brooks added the fitness and health category over there for anybody who's training to be strong or lose a lot of weight. There's even a Chief Talk suggestion box over there where you can tell, hey, Chief, I don't like this. Do this instead. And I don't have to listen to it, but it's nice to hear the feedback.
Well, hopefully you'll never have a tab called Chief's Feet Pick of the Week.
No, that is not happening. If I do that, I'm going to take all your feet picks. I'm going to put them online. I'm going to sell them. That's the disclaimer right now. Has any kid decided they were leaving and packed a bag yet? My middle kid got halfway down the drive before he turned around. Not yet. None of my kids have yet. I'm sure it'll probably. I got 3 kids, so I got a really good chance of it happening. Gary's interested. I'm taking my dad to a cigar event on Saturday for Father's Day. Ooh, nice.
Very cool.
That's nice. So like a local lounge event, or do you have like a big event in your area that's coming up? Please do tell. I'd like to hear more about that. I'll probably enjoy a cigar on Father's Day. I'm sure I will. And I think the weather's actually supposed to be pretty bad, but I think we're going to be over here. So if the weather's bad, I can just come in here and smoke a cigar. And it's Father's Day, so nobody can tell me no, right? At least that's what I feel right now. Before
except your father, but he's not going to tell you no.
You can't tell me no. You ain't big enough. Yes. Matt Berger says, I would like to throw out a huge thank you to the Chief and Bob the Cigar. Mental health is real. Hey, absolutely. We are in June. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. If you ever just need to talk, hey, hit me in the DMs. Hit me up on Discord. There's a lot of us out there that are willing to sit and talk and have a good
Absolutely.
time. And we care about all of you. If you all message me at the same time, do be aware that I got to take my time individually with each one of you. But I am here for you, no matter how many of it is. And if you're not a man, if you're a woman, and you're struggling with mental health, hey, I'd love to continue talking. I'm not just going to do it during June. Do it 365, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Well, except while I'm sleeping. Or doing Chief Talk. because I can't message. I can't respond to my DMs and Chief Talk. But hopefully you're here and we can talk about it live on the show. Bob the Cigar Guy.
Yes.
Do you have any cigars that are coming up that you have ready to smoke for a review soon that you're really excited about?
That Camacho 2025 limited edition. I know you loved it when you smoked it at PCA.
No.
Is that not the one you smoked at PCA?
No. The double Maduro.
Oh. I'm still looking forward to getting into
Now,
it.
I have smoked that cigar. I have smoked it since PCA.
I have not smoked it.
It is a good cigar. It is not as good as the double Maduro.
I'm looking to get
but it is a good cigar. And I'm willing to have my mind changed because I only smoked one of them because I only got one of them. So we got
You still only have one of them.
at the moment. Cigar Pop says, and I think it's a lot for everybody. For a lot of people who are in the cigar smoking lifestyle is cigars are my mental therapy. Cigars are a great time to take a pause. It's also a great time to get people away from you. Like if you smoke a cigar around enough people, they kind of gravitate away from you. They don't come towards you. They're like, I'm tired of smelling all this smoke. Like, you know what? That's what I needed. I needed a break from you people. Jay Bates with the woo woo. I was sitting down on the bench, noticed the sun setting. I was like, ooh, let my photo skills shine. Your inner chief. Let's see. Gary's interest says, I'm hoping to see Gary Brooks there. Oh, have you guys been coordinating about possibly going? Because you said it was a Crowned Heads event, is what I saw. Yeah, local event put on by Crowned Heads. Ooh, that's cool. Any cigar that you're looking forward to while being there? I will say Crowned Heads changed their band design on most of their cigars. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Bob Cigar, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not.
But it is lifeless to me. All the bands used to have some sort of really cool character in them, and now they're all pretty much the same except for colorways. Not a fan. That's my cigar rant of the evening. Michael Zakovic says you need to smoke a My Father on Father's Day. I don't know if I have any My Fathers just sitting around. I know the lounge right down the street from my house carries a lot of the My Father line, and I like My Father cigars. I just don't smoke them a lot. Whenever I go to that lounge, I'm usually grabbing Foundation or Dunbar Tobacco and Trust. They don't have a big Drew Estate selection, very small, but they have a huge Dunbar Tobacco and Trust selection. They have a very large, the biggest selection of Foundation cigars I've ever seen in my life. So usually I'm reaching for those, but they do have a good selection of My Father cigars. Fireborn says, Chief, since Discord is a voice platform, have you ever considered a virtual herf in a voice channel? Could be off the hook fun. Actually, if you go over to the Chief Talk Discord and scroll down, we have a voice channel. It's called General. It's just a general voice channel. And we have done Hangouts there before. It's been a while since we've done that, but yeah, we've gone over there and we've done virtual Hangouts and little mobile virtual herfs and sat down and hung out and had a good time. We also I don't think it works anymore because the bot got canned. But we also used to have a thing in there where you could plug in a playlist through Spotify and everybody could listen to the same music at the same time. Like if you're working or driving or something like that, you can all be listening to the same music at the same time. But yeah, we do have a voice channel over there. So maybe we hit that up in maybe in a couple of days. I don't know. The weather in my area is supposed to be pretty bad for the next few days. It's supposed to be a lot of rain. So I don't know. But hey, that does not stop anybody from going over there and hanging out and having a good time. Keep it family friendly. There are rules on the Chief Talk Discord. If I pop on and something's not being done well, I'll make sure it's sorted out. But yeah, if you guys are wanting to hang out over there and just have another spot to sit, chill, hang out, and smoke and whatnot, the Chief Talk Discord is open for that. I think you can have 20 people at a time in a room. So yeah, heck yeah. Jay Bates says, thanks for that, Bobby. I think he's talking about your H99 Super On show.
Largo.
Cigar Pop. If my cigars offend, then it's working. Love the La Patisserie and the La Creme. I love the La Creme. the radio channel is there, but I don't think it works. I think the bot. I got a message sometime last year that was like the bot's not working anymore or something like that. So I never looked into it. I never deleted it. I just left it where it was. So I don't even know if it works. It might just be converted into a voice channel now. We just have 2 voice channels that don't get used. I'll have to take another look into it. I mean, the Discord has gained a whole lot of life here in the last few months, ever since we started doing the stick pick of the week. It's kind of crazy. This was the 7th week of stick pick of the week. It doesn't feel like it was almost 2 months ago when we started this just out of the blue. But we've had a lot of life. We've had a lot of life over there. And it's nice to be able to log on and see, in the last 12 hours since I hadn't been on, like 30 pictures have gone up of people smoking cigars. So it's like, oh, that's nice. So my job of picking out stick pick of the week is getting a little harder. There's only about, I don't know, maybe 10 people right now who are posting stick pick of the week. Well, stick picks. Now Brian Supreme Tobacco has said, please don't allow me to be a winner. At some point, I'm probably going to ignore his request, because I love Brian so much and his photos are bangers.
They're supremo.
They are top tier, upper echelon. So at some point he'll probably win just because I want him to. And I'll just disregard what he said. Gary Brooks says, oh shoot, that Crown Heads event is near me. Ooh, you better go now. Jimmy Johns says, local shop just did a My Father event, so I got a handful to try. Even a Pepin Garcia series JJ just for my initials. How about that? That's cool. You got sandwiches and stogies. I almost got in so much trouble there with
Free smells. That's the Jimmy John's commercial.
Fireborn says Discord is faster than Dojo. Well, there's no point system on Discord. Fireborn, a little salty, Mr. Salty. But no, the Discord's great. I love the Discord. I know that it's supposed to be for gaming and all that kind of stuff, but we've really turned it into a really fun little spot over there. With just being able to, post what you're smoking, talk about what you're smoking, talk about what other people are smoking, just have a good conversation. And it's kind of fun though. Like it's kind of, some of the cigars are like, ooh, maybe I should, look out for that cigar. Cause people will be like, well, how did you feel about that cigar? I think it was Michael Zakovic. Let me see. No, it was Fireborn. Gave a whole entire epilogue of his Gurkha Tyson cigar. So it's a lot of fun over there. It just kind of takes the culture that we've built here on Chief Talk to a little farther reach, just where we get to hang out throughout the week. Because I don't do Chief Talk every night. My wife would be upset. But having the Discord is a way to do that kind of stuff. So maybe we'll have to do one of the virtual herfs over there and just hang out and all talk over each other and have a good time smoking cigars. So I know there are other whereby out there that do, like, they join Cigar of the Month clubs and they all smoke the same cigar and they talk about the cigar and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get that deep into it. Maybe we do something like that where we do like maybe not a certain blend, but maybe a brand name, where we try to get out and, try some new brands. Doesn't have to be the same cigar, but maybe you can find that brand. Not something super obscure that you just can't find, you wouldn't be able to participate in, but maybe some brands like Crown Heads, right, or Foundation that they're there, but they're not the estates or the drones of the world. Sammy Flo says, anyone in the New York, New Jersey area, come to our Father's Day event. Father's Day Drew Estate event with Matty Rock at the Casa. I got to stop there because the YouTube bots could get me if I say anymore. Let's see. Just bought some cigars based on Discord posts. Look at there. Look at there. That's how it's working. Gary Brooks says, I'm not a fan of the points thing. It's okay, but I don't want to gamify my cigars. Now we do have a point system over on Discord, but it's not a cigar points thing. It's just an interactive thing. The more you interact on Discord, the higher the level you get. And then based off of your level, you can be in front of somebody or, trying to chase them down. I am currently number 1 by a long shot, but that's because it's my Discord server, and so I feel like I have to respond to as much as I can and participate as much as I can. Adam Wolf gave me a good run for a while. Adam Wolf he's still number 2, but Gary Brooks is closing in on that, and then Charles Adamson is right behind Gary Brooks. So the 2-3-4 war is pretty good. I don't know if anybody's gonna catch up to me because it's just my job. Now, if somebody goes over there and just starts spamming a lot, I mean, you'll get put on a timeout. But yeah, it's kind of fun just to see, how many people are. Oh yes, the Discord AI, which I knew, like, we had the Discord AI on there, but I only had it on there for the leveling on there. I didn't realize that you could interact with the AI, and the AI speaks in broken old English and loves tacos. It is hilarious because the Discord AI absolutely hates Charles Adamson. Absolutely hates that man. Gary Brooks says, I'll have to put my Pentax on a tripod and figure out how to connect up the video output if you do a herf. You do your phone herfs all the time. Same Flow says, I feel like Bob is on a timeout tonight. He's definitely super quiet. I've been doing a lot of talking this evening. Now, it is called Chief Talk. Charles Adams says the AI bot does it. It's funny. The AI bot pressured Charles Adamson into going and buying taco supplies. Like, they had a full-on discussion about, like, Charles Adamson arguing with the bot about tacos. It was really funny. Really good. Animal says, oh dang, I guess I gotta post and interact more to keep my number 2 spot. No, you're always number 2 to me, buddy. Speaking of Adam Wolf, he smoked a cigar. I think it was last night. It might have been this morning. I think it was last night. Yeah, it was last night. He smoked a cigar called Street Meat. What a cigar name. You ever heard of the Street Meat, Bob Cigar Guy?
I have not. Not at all.
I hadn't either. He opened himself up for some criticism there, and he got it from a few people. Well, it didn't even have to just be me. I'm usually the one that gives Adam Wolf the stick, not in the Street Meat regards. But no, the Discord's popping. All right, as we approach the 10 o'clock hour, just a little recap over, everything that went on in the show tonight. I don't think Yardgar is a bad thing. I think Yardgar is a good thing. It's just a specific thing. Graduation cigars, birthday cigars, all that kind of stuff. Those fall into the celebratory cigar. Those fall into the kick back, relax, high quality. There's a bug flying around the studio. It's a fly. Boom, got it. Those are celebrated cigars. But I think we can also celebrate yard cigars. I think yard cigars are can be really good cigars. As we talked about tonight, two of those 4 cigars are cigars that are like chameleon yard cigars. They can be yard cigars because of their price point, but they can also be celebratory cigars or sit down and lounge cigars because of their smoke point, their flavor point. As to where some of the other cigars, like the Slaughterhouse cigar, I don't think it's ever graduating out of yard cigar. Tatiscan, I don't think it's ever going to graduate out of yard cigar. But Tatiscan is blended to be a yard cigar. Slaughterhouse is blended to be a yard cigar. They're not looking to make those blends are not being crafted to be, Half Wheel's number 2, number 5, number 17 cigar of the year. They're not looking to be Bob Cigar Guy's number 1 cigar of the year. They're not looking to be in my top 20 either. They're looking to make a cigar for people who want to smoke cigars in that price point or in that work point and enjoy that experience during that time. Because you can have a better experience with a yard cigar and it be great than having a bad experience with an upper echelon cigar, right? The yard cigar, it might not taste as good as that upper echelon cigar, but that upper echelon cigar, as soon as it starts to burn a little wonky, oh no, As soon as the flavor seems a little bit off, oh no, a yard cigar, flavor's off, it's a $2 cigar. I don't care. Burns off, it's a yard cigar. I don't really care. I'll touch it up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So I don't know why I felt that this was like an important topic for tonight, or an important topic at all, but I couldn't shake the idea. And I was like, what better way to talk about it and get it off my brain than Chief Talk when I've got 20 some odd people here with me every single week who hang out? Because again, 3 minutes into the show, we were at 22 people. We are still at 22 people. This has been a fantastic show. We are continuing to crush. We're almost halfway through the year. Speaking of that, sorry, I just peeked the fool out of the microphones. Today is the 12th. In 2 weeks, we are going to have on a guest. That'll be the last show before summer is officially here. The 26th, I guess actually summer is officially here. Is it summer here then, or is it the next month? I don't remember. Or is it here already? It's hot. So next week is an open date. Might have somebody on, might not. I'm not sure. The 26th, I do have a guest coming. I'll announce that next week. But the 26th, I will have a guest on the show. And then the week after that is July 3rd. We will not have a show. Every single year, there are a few weeks in the year that we take off regardless because of the holiday. July 4th is that whole entire week is, everybody's traveling. I'm traveling. Bob Cigar Guy's, doing his own thing. We won't be here in the studio. We want you to spend that time with your family, have fun, be safe. Thanksgiving, always on a Thursday. We don't do Chief Talk on Thanksgiving because we're doing Thanksgiving. But even if we weren't doing Thanksgiving, we wouldn't want you to come here and hang out with us instead of hanging out with your family. I know some people that's probably a better idea. But we take off Thanksgiving, and then a few weeks later after that, we take off for Christmas. And sometimes we take off New Year's. It just kind of depends on what the day is. It kind of depends on where it falls within the spectrum of the calendar. So this is our first vacation or holiday break that we will have of the year. Every year is the July 4th weekend. So we have 2 more Chief Talks before we take a break. But the week before, we will have a guest on. I'm super excited about having him on. It'll be the first time that he has been on Chief Talk as a premier guest. I do believe he was on Chief Talk in a live travel edition once, but that was so long ago. I can't remember if he was on the show or not. So this will definitely be his first time on the show as a premier guest, and I'll announce that next week. Graphic will go out, all that kind of sort of stuff too. You guys can be prepared to hang out with him and us. I'm really looking forward to the conversation because he's somebody who has a lot of information. So I'm super looking forward to that. And it'll be a nice little send off before the holiday weekend. Well, it's Bob the Cigar Guy. You got anything else that you didn't get to get out this evening because I wouldn't stop rambling?
You did a great job tonight. I didn't have any need to say anything because you were just carrying the show, as you should, because it is Chief Talk. But this Saturday, I won't be doing a lot of talking either because the First Lady is going to be carrying the show with her show, Second Saturdays with the First Lady. That's right. You get to be on there at noon, and we are going to trial this
noon Eastern time. Noon Eastern time.
Chief is going to come out early, and he's going to hopefully show me how to do StreamYard, and he's going to kind of co-pilot, and I'm going to try to use the deck and all that other stuff and make it happen. The giveaway is going to be amazing and phenomenal as always, and the content is going to be even better. That is noon South Carolina time this Saturday. Also, I would like to say to all the dads out there, you're important, you're valuable, you have a purpose in your household. Stay present and stay involved. Happy Father's Day.
Absolutely.
Chief, happy Father's Day to you as well.
You too, Pops. No, being a dad is the most enjoyable job I've ever had. Sorry, I'm not getting choked up. I just had a phlegm situation there. No, being a dad has been the most enjoyable job. I love being a husband more than I like being a dad, but I don't call being a husband being a job. That's a privilege. And it's a privilege to be a dad too, but it's definitely a job. I love my kids. Like I said earlier, I got 3 kids. It gets a little crazy around the house sometimes, but I love it. And shout out to the dads out there, especially the dads that when things got tough, when life got hard, they never stopped being a dad. Dads are needed, and scientific studies show that being a dad who is there for your family is majorly important in the lives of the ones that you raise, the ones that are your offspring.
And that's not casting shade on moms either.
No, it's
Both
not.
of them
No,
have
it's not.
Responsibilities and a very important part in the
Absolutely.
development
But we've already
of
celebrated Mother's
children.
Day. We love our mothers. It's all about the dads this week. But there are studies out there that, and please go look them up if you're not convinced, where it is crazy how different people become who are raised in a household that has the dad versus not. Not saying that everybody who's raised in a household where a dad had a good dad or that was good to them or whatnot. I'm not making excuses for bad dads who were still present. But I do want to say shout out to all the dads who were there for their kids. No matter what the circumstance was, if you were there to take, help support your kids in the best way that you're able to, shout out. Love it. Appreciate it. I hope that that's something that we can get back to as a culture, is more dudes sticking around to be dads, because it's a dope job. I love my kids. And so shout out to all you guys who are dads, soon to be dads, if there are any of you who are soon to be dads. And to ones who maybe didn't have the chance to have kids, but you got to be like a distant daddy or something like that.
Father figure.
You shout out. Appreciate all the love. Again, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want to try to make sure that every week this month we definitely we put it out there and say, like, if you need to talk, you need to have some time to talk to somebody, and you don't know who to talk to, hey, message me. I might not have all your answers or be able to do everything that you need me to do, but I'm at least a step in the right direction. I'd love to. Your problems are not too heavy to put onto me. I'd love to sit there and talk with you. And you are worth it. We love you. We say that, we mean it. You're not just gonna be another name. You're gonna be somebody that we talk with and try to figure this thing out about, because we'd rather have you here than not. So with that, we are going to end the show again. Thank you to our show sponsors, Drew Estate, right under Bob the Cigar Guy's big old fat head over there. Drew Estate, Natura Cigar, making sure that Chief Talk is brought to you every single week. We appreciate them stepping up to make sure that we can bring this show to you with all of our technical difficulties but better sound. I did go back and watch the stream last week. Much better streaming quality sound. Happy about that. Also have a good week. Hopefully you get to smoke something for Father's Day, and you're celebrated, and you get your new pack of underwear and your new pack of socks that'll last you till Christmas. Congratulations, you've made it halfway through the year. You can retire those boxers, buddy. We're proud of you. So, without further ado, that's not the one I wanted. Turn that one on. Without further ado, thank you all for hanging out with us as we sat here to talk I've got 2 songs going at the same time. Talk your ears off for Chief Talk. It was a lot of fun. Really appreciate you being here with us. I always enjoy this time, even after going through all the easy technical early difficulties. I'm glad y'all stuck around. We did not hit 30 tonight. We hit 28 was our peak number this evening. But we do thank you for hanging out with us. Happy Father's Day. We'll see you next week. Smoke something good. Get back to us, and we'll catch you on the next show.
Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a one-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.